Remix Rumble is TFT's hardest set yet. Everything has changed and the game is more skill expressive than ever. This means a lot of people are struggling so far this set, but it also means there's no better time than now to learn how to play. Today, I'm going to give you my step by step breakdown of how to pilot a game of TFT for absolute beginners, and even throw in some advanced tips to help skyrocket you to first place this set. This video is about learning to play TFT. I'm not going to cover what comps, traits, and items are strongest because those change every 2 weeks with new patches. I truly believe the advice in this video will always be valuable for learning TFT, regardless of the set. TFT is at its heart an 8-man free-for-all auto battler. We're going to get items and gold throughout the game and use them to build a team with synergizing champions, traits, items, and augments to beat other players' teams. Lose a fight and your little legend loses HP. Lose all your HP and you're out. Last man standing wins. First thing you'll notice when you load in this set is you're offered 3 portals to pick from. These change the game for everyone and can do all sorts of things, from more items, better starting champs, and more gold throughout the game. This game, we were offered Unit Accelerator, which makes all champs move and attack faster, Component Anvil, which starts us with 2 anvils we can open to pick one of several items, and 3 Cost Start, where everyone starts the game with a 1-star copy of a mid-game champion. Because these options are all universally good for most playstyles, don't stress your pick here. They're low impact and everyone gets them, so pick what looks fun. I take components because more items gives us better direction on what kind of team we should be building. However, portals are a random vote system, meaning the game picks one person's vote and applies that to everyone, so we end up with a 3-cost start instead. If you ever want to learn what a champion does, you can right click and inspect them. TFT does a great job at showing you the champion's traits, abilities, preferred items, how to make them, and also where to position the champion on the board, which you can do by left clicking and dragging them to any of the hexes. Stage 1 is the shortest stage where we fight some easy minions to get items, gold, champions, and more. At the bottom, we have our shop, gold, and level. Gold is earned passively every round. There are also 2 ways to get more gold. Win streaks and lose streaks grant more gold the longer the streak, and every 10 gold stockpiled grants you 1 gold interest per round, up to 5 gold per round at 50 gold stockpiled. Streaks and maintaining interest are crucial to gold generation and should be your priority in the early game. Levels dictate how many champs we can field at once. Level 1 means only 1 champion, level 2 means 2 champions, etc., etc. Normally, you gain 2 XP per round, and you can spend 4 gold at any time for 4 more XP. We'll talk about the best times for leveling throughout the game. Our level also dictates our shop. The shop is 5 champions shown that refresh every round that you can choose to buy with your gold. Don't like your champions? Spend 2 gold at any point for a new full shop. A higher level means a higher chance at higher cost champions, who are usually stronger than their cheaper counterparts. You can see the odds between our money and our level. White is 1 cost, green is 2, blue is 3, purple is 4, and gold is 5 cost, the legendaries. They're also colored in your shop accordingly. If you don't want to lose your shop next round, click the little lock icon to lock the shop to prevent automatic refreshes. Note that you can still spend gold to refresh while the shop is locked. A new mechanic of set 10 are headliners. Similar to Chosen from previous sets, headliners appear in every shop until you buy one. Once you buy one, they'll only appear in every 4 shops, and you can sell them anytime for more headliners to come. Headliners are 3 times the price, but automatically 2-star. They also have a headliner trait that will provide 2 of that trait to your team instead of the usual 1. So if we bought this Evelyn, she would be 2 stars and give our team 1 KDA, 2 Crowd Diver. Headliners are quite strong, and overall you'll want to flex headliners a lot this set. Constantly buying suboptimal headliners and selling them when you level up for the chance to hit higher cost headliners later. Can't sit on a 1 cost headliner because it has a trait you like. This will lose you games. Getting a higher cost 2-star in a single shop is invaluable. You can check your headliner odds anytime at the top right of your shop. A special trick for getting good early headliners is to buy your 1-4 headliner, then pre-level to 5 right before your next headliner comes around for the best chance at that early 2-cost headliner to snowball you the early game. Augments are team-wide buffs that you will get 3 of throughout the game. They can be silver, gold, or prismatic in that order of power. Everyone is offered the same tier, but not the same augments. Each of the three options can be rerolled for a chance at better augments. Augment power level changes patch to patch, so I'm not going to go into too much depth here. A general rule of thumb to follow is to only take one econ augment per game. If you take too many augments that don't help your combat power, you'll end up losing to worse comps because they have better synergies with their augments. It's best if this econ augment is taken on 2-1, aka your first augment, but depending on the situation, you can take them later as well. When looking for your first augment, you should consider the strength of your board and the items you have. If you want to win streak and keep high tempo, or lose streak, tank some HP and build a strong economy. For these options, we don't want to commit to learning to spell with no AP items. I'm looking for an augment that will give me direction, but not pigeonhole me if I don't get offered what I want later in the game. Gambler's Blade and support items are good flex choices, and were probably fine takes for any comp, but I know there's some high roll options out there, and I want direction. Luckily, I find two of them in Jazz and Vampirism. Both augments at the time of this recording are very strong. Vampirism is better for any comp, but Jazz is stronger if you can meet its high requirements of having a lot of traits active. To show you a more interesting flex game, I decided to take Jazz because it's really strong, gives us something to play around, and offers a lot of combat power if we can get it rolling. On stage 2, PvP begins and continues in this format until the game ends. 3 rounds of PvP, carousel pick, 2 rounds of PvP again, and another fight against monsters for more loot. The first decision you'll want to make on stage 2 is to lose or win streak. You always want to try and commit to one of these for stage 2. Looking at my board, it isn't strong. Not a lot of great early items and no other 2 stars. So I'm going to choose to try and lose streak, trading some early HP for lose streak money and interest saved from not spending on a strong board to have more money later in the game and make a comeback that way. The second big decision you'll make on 2-1 is whether or not you'll spend 4 gold to level up to level 4. Because with this augment, I want to field many traits and start powering up my team, I decide to level. However, if you're weak, don't have usable items, or have an econ augment where the 4 gold is more beneficial, it's okay to sit and build up wealth, but a lot of the time, even if you're loose streaking, you'll want to level to take less damage. The more stars, champs, and levels your opponent has at the end of the round equals the more damage you'll take. Killing everything but one unit is often called a perfect loss because it minimizes damage taken and preserves your streak gold. The correct decision changes often, but because set 10 is so tempo focused, I end up leveling 95% of my games here and can still consistently lose streak unless I have absolutely nothing. This does require scouting other players to see if anyone is weaker than you are, though. And as expected, I lose 2-1, but preserve HP by killing his frontline. However, on 2-2, I end up fighting someone that hasn't leveled, and I end up winning the fight. This means I've already failed at building that loss streak I was playing around, and now I need to pivot to win streak, except my board hasn't improved much. But because I'm committed to winning now, I slam my items. I build a Nash's Tooth on Bard for extra damage and casting, since I know I'll be relying on him with the augment buffs to win. Luckily, I end up winning 2-3 and should be pre-leveling to 5 here to get that chance at a 2-cost headliner like I discussed before. So this is a minor misplay. However, when you're playing TFT, it can be overwhelming, and when every game is so different, it's okay to not play perfectly. There's a lot of skill expression and flexibility, and that's especially exaggerated in set 10. Just remember it's a game to have fun, and you'll learn as you go. The middle of every stage contains a carousel round. All the players are locked around a carousel of champions holding items. The lowest HP players are released first. When you walk up to a champion, you get them and their item. This item always pops off, so don't be scared of what champ it's on. Usually focus on the item, not the champion, because you can't find items in shops. If you aren't sure what something is, click the eye above them to get more information on the champion and the item. Here, I check my board to see I have a cloak and look for what AP items I can make of it. Ionic Spark will drop the enemy team's magic resist and is a good frontline item, so I look to get a rod and make that. Like units, a mix of frontline and backline items is crucial to having a good team composition. This does also mean I'm committing to the AP line and will not want to focus on AD carries for now. On 2-5, I end up swapping out my Evelyn for a headliner Superfan Lilia. Great unit with a super strong trait. Another Bard as well, which definitely we will want to get at least 2-starred if we're going to be relying on his damage. I also finally go to level 5 here, and I start swapping units around to activate as many traits as possible. I end up putting an Amumu in because he's the highest cost and should therefore be the strongest. If I had a 2-star, I'd gladly play that instead. A third win in our streak, and now we find Set, who's a strong frontliner with 3 traits, so perfect pickup for the Jazz comp. More mixing around to get as many traits as possible, selling units we don't want so we can hit our interest thresholds for more money, and we end up winning through the rest of stage 2. At the end of each stage, we fight some monsters that give us some items, and this time we get lucky with a champion duplicator, which lets us copy any champ we want. PvE stages also give a nice breather to look at your comp and make any changes. Misfortune's an easy pickup as she's Jazz. Ezreal's a very early forecast and synergizes with MF's big shot trait, so we definitely want to pick him up. I've been mentioning items here and there, but I want to talk about them here. Items are gotten during non PvP rounds as components that give simple stat increases. Combining 2 components creates full items that do unique things besides simple stat increases. Covering every item and its best users would be its own super long video, so for now, rely on TFT's Champion Inspector that we talked about earlier to guide your item choices. Remember that TFT is a tempo game. It can often be better to make usable but suboptimal items now, instead of perfect items 10 rounds from now. Mana and AP are perfect for Bard, so we slam those two and get ready to try and win streak stage 3. I check out everyone else's board to see if anyone can beat me. I'm not confident, so I level around earlier than usual to make sure I win, slotting that Ezreal we bought to activate a third trait and start stacking up our augment. Usually, if you're behind, 3-2 is the latest you'll want to hit level 6, unless you're rolling for some cheap 3-stars. Round 3-2 is when you'll want to level to 6 if you haven't already, and are offered your second augment. This time, we got gold, and I'm looking for something that'll really boost our power to make sure we keep winning. 3 front lines and 3 backline units with no real tank items makes Unified Resistance the perfect choice to round out our comp. I'm constantly checking other boards to make sure I'm the strongest in the lobby, but I'm confident, so I sit on my money for now. Knowing when to spend and when to hold is something that's hard to learn and comes from playing, experience, and patch to patch balance to know how strong someone's board is versus yours. We win our next 2 rounds, and on Carousel, I'm looking for that final carry item for Bard or some items for our front line. A chain vest on Misfortune is perfect for that second option, since the item is always going to pop off. With a little bit of luck and some flexible play, we're way ahead, so I decide to level to 7 early. Normally, the latest you'll want to level to 7 is on 4-1, but I need to make sure I win, or the plan falls apart. Because of all the gold I'm spending, I will be losing 3 gold interest per round, but if I don't, I could end up losing the plus 3 gold from win streak gold. If you're super confident, you could stay level 6 and try and win, but that's very risky. TFT is a game about making the best of what you're offered. We do some rolling and get 2-2-stars, which is great, and put the Gnar in for 2 more traits active, Mosher and Superfan. We end up winning through stage 3, which is really good and puts us way ahead of the lobby. If you want to see a game like this, with post-game commentary from a loss streak position, let me know with a like and comment below. Subscribe if you enjoy so you don't miss any more content I put out, and tell me what you want to see next. Wolves grants us a lot of AD and tank components. Previously, we wanted to avoid AD items, but with Misfortune and Ezreal likely longtime members of the squad, we're okay with this. We could make 2 defensive AD items, but I decide to commit to 1 full damage and 1 full tank item. 2 defensive items on a backline carry is often unnecessary, since they'll likely be the last ones hit anyway. If you're worried about them being assassinated, I recommend always 1 defensive item per backliner. However, if you're win streaking, don't sit for perfect items forever. Like I said, TFT is a tempo game, and you have to make the best of what you're given. Greed will get you killed, especially in a set as fast as this. As stage 4 comes around, a few things change. This is where you'll traditionally level to 7, your third and final augment is about to come, and most importantly, it's where you stop caring about streaks. The extra money isn't worth the massive HP loss you'll take from a whole lobby of level 7s with 7 champs likely all 2-starred. Now, you should be doing your best to win every round without crippling your economy. The golden threshold for me is 40 HP. This is the magic number that tells you to start spending. Because once you're 40 HP, it's only going to take a few bad rounds to knock you out of the game. So spend that money. You don't want to lose panicking trying to roll down 50 gold and swapping your whole team in 20 seconds with only 1 HP remaining. 4-2, and we get our last gold augment, and I'm only looking for power here. It's too late for money augments for me, and I just want to win. I reroll and end up with 3 really good augments for any AP comp. I end up taking Jeweled Lotus for more damage, but if you need more defense, then Combat Caster is pretty good too. I'd only take Magic Wand here if it gave me an item I desperately needed. It's just less damage team wide than Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus crit chance also benefits AD champs, which we have equal of as well. Afterwards, I roll to keep a balance of gold and power, making sure my team is always the strongest it can currently be, constantly evaluating what traits I can get for Jazz and what units I need or are better than others. I also leveled to 8 super early to get ahead of the pack and find the legendaries before everyone else does. It pays off, and next shop we hit the 3% Lucian, who's Jazz. Perfect. We look around and see how he best fits, and I decide Nar 1 isn't worth the traits compared to the Jazz 3 Lucian 1. On Carousel, we have no extra components, so no items to target specifically. But we do want tank items to keep our balance, so I settle on a chain vest. Two types of items to always get on your team are Antiheal and Armor/MR Shred. Antiheal reduces enemy healing, and Shred/Sunder reduce enemy defenses. Usually, you only need one source of each per team. We have Ionic Spark for shredding MR, and the Chain Vest I slam on set I hope to turn into a Sunfire for Antiheal later. If I don't hit the belt, it may result in a suboptimal set item, but the extra armor now can make the difference in a fight. Now, we're just back to building up our own economy and hitting 2 stars where we can. We have 5 traits, so our Jazz units are scaling hard, and 7 traits would make them even stronger. We have a game plan of what we want going forward. We want higher levels, 2 stars of better champs, and at least 7 active traits. Raptors end up dropping a glove, a belt, and an anvil. The belt is a perfect fit for Set, and he gets that anti-heal we were looking for. The anvil gives us a choice of components, and we pick the tier to give Bard some extra damage and healing with Hand of Justice. If we didn't get lucky with the belt, we could also have grabbed it out of the anvil. I also sell the Lulu since now we can get 4 cost headliners, and I roll looking for one. TF is good enough and gets us 2 traits, so can't complain. From here, it's stage 5 and officially late game. We're so ahead no one can really beat us, and we're just keeping the ball rolling, getting more income, stronger champs, and trying to stay above 50 gold for the most gold per round. MF2 pickup is great. Here on stage 5, Carousel, I make a weird play. My options are 2 emblems that give me traits I can't activate, 2 anti-heal items, which I already have, or a bruiser item. In the Panic of Carousel, I take the Alawi because she's a legendary, but the Aphelios with Titans would likely serve us better long term. The Sunfire is a wasted item as we already have anti-healing, but Alawi gives Bruiser and her unique trait, which makes it really nice for Jazz. We also end up selling our headliner Twisted Fate for Alawi to hopefully find a better headliner that suits our team, and we do with Big Shot Ezreal, who we swap for our normal level 1 Ezreal. This does just give us Big Shot 3, which doesn't do much, but he's a better champ for a comp and 2-starred, which will be really powerful if we can upgrade him to Big Shot 4. I level to 9 at the end of stage 5. There's no real checkpoint for level 9, but the best advice I can give you is don't spend all your gold to go 9 if you can't roll or buy units. I only go 9 here because I'll still have almost 40 gold to buy units and roll with. If I ended with 10 gold, I'd be able to find and buy one good unit maybe. It would have been better in that scenario to roll all of my gold at level 8. On 6-1, the game is almost over, so I roll down looking for good or 2-star legendaries and end up hitting Jhin for his unique trait and big shot. I sell the Ezreal as well to look for legendary headliners because they're incredibly strong. From here, the game is pretty much over. It's impossible to tell you what to do in every scenario, but hopefully this video taught you either the basics or you picked up some advanced techniques along the way. Set 10's the perfect time to get into the game, so let me know if you have any questions, and I'm checking all the comments. Also, let me know if you want to see more in-depth looks into champions, items, traits, or patch metas, anything I didn't cover in this video. If you enjoyed, remember to like and subscribe. I hope to post more live full games soon, and you can catch me live twice a week playing TFT here on YouTube.